Let me know how y'all doing, how y'all feeling. What is the vibe? I want to know. Okay, this. All right, let me go ahead and bring this up for us. Welcome in, welcome in. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? What is the vibe? Let me know down in the chat. Alrighty, welcome in, welcome in. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? What's the vibe? So we are going to be going over the perfection of yoga, right? It's a small book, but packed with a lot of information. Okay, about 50 something pages in here. We're not going to do them all today. We're just going to start chapter 1. If you have questions, comments, concerns, make sure that you place those down in the chat and we will go over them together. Anything about the book, the author, spirituality in general, you know, we have the conversations here. Okay. So if you have anything, if you want to like apply this back to your journey, and that's why we're going over this information. So make sure that you are taking notes, okay? This is actually one of the books that I got for free on my college campus. I forget, this was the free copy, and then there was like another copy by this author. But you know what I'm saying? I was just looking for the free, you know what I'm saying? I was just looking for the free copy. So, if I ever run into the people who had them, or, you know, someone else who like carries these books by this author, right, I will definitely be, you know, picking up one of those, adding it to my collection. Okay. Hi, OT. How you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat. Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling down in the chat. We're not going to be here super long today, so let's go ahead and get into our meditation so that we can jump straight into the book. Let me know how you're doing, how you're feeling down in the chat, okay? Hi, hun. How you doing? How you feeling? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. All right. Hi, hun. How you doing? Waiting for everybody to come in. We get situated and start our meditation here. It's a ton of chords. It'd be like that. Alrighty. You're doing good. I'm glad to hear that. Let me know how you guys are doing, how you're feeling down in the chat, okay? Alrighty. When we're ready, we're going to join me in a comfortable seat, crisscross applesauce, sitting in a chair. Doesn't matter if you're laying down, okay? Alrighty, we're gonna close our eyes gently, following the natural rhythm of breath here as we go inward. We're gonna do 5 deep breaths for today's practice. When you do these breaths, it's going to be inhaling through the stomach and the rib cage, holding at the top for 5, and letting it out with a big old sigh, okay? You're gonna do a couple together, and then I'll let you do the rest by yourself. Ready? And inhale. Hold. Let it out with a sigh. 4 more just like that. Inhale. Hold. Let it out with a sigh. Let's do one more together. Inhale. Hold. Let it out with a sigh. Do 2 more at your own pace. Start at your own time. And whenever you're ready, you can begin. You can feel it off. You need to sway. You're gonna roll your ankles, roll your wrists, roll your neck. You can do that now. Doing whatever feels good with your body. This is your practice. Move with intention. Returning back to your normal rhythm of breath as we you can take a moment here to ground. We're going to move into wiggling our toes once you're ready. Wiggling our fingers. And then we're going to shake it out. Shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Shake it out. Okay. Alrighty. Gently opening our eyes. Coming back to the here, now, present moment. Welcome in, welcome in. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? What is the vibe? Let me know down in the chat, okay? So today is Tuesday. We're not going to have any chance to get into any personal questions, any yes or no questions. Hey, Melly, how you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat, hon. So like I was saying, we're not going to have any time to get into any yes or no questions or personal questions today, okay? If we have time tomorrow, we might after the collective reading, or we will be doing normal day is Thursday for personal reading, okay? So for sure you could get a personal reading on Thursday, okay? Welcome in. How you doing? How you feeling? Hershgal, welcome in. Welcome in. How you guys doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat. Okay. So I'm looking at all of the chats here, just trying to make sure I'm caught up. Okay. All right. So let me quickly go over the author of this book. It looks like he has a little something on the back. Um, I'm probably gonna like butcher his name though. So we're gonna call him Swami, okay? Swami is a spiritual, philosophical, religious teacher from India who spreads the Hare Krishna mantra and the teachings of the Krishna consciousness to the world. Okay, Krishna, think of Christ consciousness, right? Just another word for it in another language. Okay, um, so let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna let you guys look at the, if you guys can, if I could put it like close enough for you guys to see the author's name, if you guys want to like screenshot the books so that you can try to find this author. Just trying to make sure it's in the light. Okay, I'm trying to see. Boom, so you guys can like screenshot it. Alrighty. Thank you for the rose, hun. Thank you. Alrighty, so we're gonna go into oh looks, he has a bunch of books, like a ton. We are reading The Perfection of Yoga. Okay, this was 1972. But like he literally has books. I wanna say that his earliest, yeah, his earliest is 1968. Okay. So yeah, so we're gonna read the first chapter. Okay, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, let me know down in the chat. If you want the author's name, I can like spell it out in the chat for you guys. Have to put it in that way because I don't want to butcher their name. Which is why we're calling them Swami, because that's the easiest part of their name to pronounce. Okay. Um, So we have chapter 1, Yoga as Rejected by Arjuna. There have been many yoga systems popularized in the Western world, especially in the century, but none of them have actually taught the perfection of yoga. In the Bhagavad Gita, Sri Krishna, okay, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, directly teaches Arjuna the perfection of yoga. If we actually want to participate in the perfection of the yoga system in the Bhagavad Gita, we will find the authoritative statements of the Supreme Person, which I think is why they put this on the back here, right? In the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practice of yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In the joyous state, one is situated in boundless transcendental happiness realized through transcendental senses, established thus one never departs from the truth, and upon gaining this, he thinks there is no greater gain. Okay. Is this on a certain page? Oh, maybe we will get to. Okay, it says. Maybe it's somewhere in here. Bear with me for the words that are harder to pronounce here. Okay. Um, as they're in a different language, and this language isn't my forte, right? So, it is certainly remarkable that the perfection of yoga was taught in the middle of a battlefield. It was taught to Arjuna, a warrior, just before he was to engage in a fratricidal battle. Out of sentiment, Arjuna was thinking, why should I fight against my own kinsmen? That reluctance to fight was due to Arjuna's illusion. And just to eradicate that illusion, Sri Karsana spoke the Bhagavad Gita to him. One can just imagine how little time must have elapsed while the Bhagavad Gita was being spoken. Probably like butchering that. I apologize in advance, but like, um, I can spell it out for you guys too, if you need me to. The All the warriors on both sides were poised to fight, so there was very little time indeed. At the utmost 1 hour. Within this 1 hour, the whole we're gonna call it the Bhagavad Gita. We're gonna have to like skip that because we're gonna be like butchering that. It's said way too many times. Um, Let me see something. Where am I at? Was discussed. Okay. And Sri Karsana set forth the perfection of all yoga systems to his friend Arjuna. Okay, so let me see. I want to just see if it will. Oh, wait. Spelling it wrong. I don't really like want that. I want the pronunciation. Ba ha vod jita. Ba go vod jita. I feel like I'm saying something along those lines. Okay, wait. There's a little video. There's a video. Let's watch the video. Not the ad. Okay, it's a two. Like the video's not even that long. Got a whole ad on it.
We are looking at how to pronounce the name of this 700 verse Hindu scripture. We're going to be looking at how to say more interesting and often mispronounced related names too, so make sure to stay tuned and consider subscribing for more learning. How do you say it? Bhagavad Gita, often referred to
Okay,
as simply
Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita. Around those lines. Okay, Bhagavad Gita. Okay. We try. Okay. All right. Lost my place. Okay, wait. So at the end of this great discourse, Arjuna set aside his misgivings and fought. However, within the discourse, when Arjuna heard the explanation of the meditational system of yoga, how to sit down, how to keep the body straight, how to keep the eyes half closed, and how to gaze at the tip of the nose without diverting one's attention, all this being conducted in a secluded place alone, he replied, a language I do not speak. um, does it have it translated? On my The system of yoga you have summarized appears impractical and undurable to me, for the mind is restless and unsteady. Okay, that's the what I hope to be. Okay, it looks like that's how they set it up. Yeah, because there's another paragraph with some words here, and then it has in parentheses. So I think in the parentheses is the English version of it. Okay. Um, so this is important. We must always remember that we are in a material circumstance. We're in at every moment. It's okay, Christy. We didn't go live yesterday. We didn't go live yesterday, so you're good, hun. I think that was like last week's live. You meant you like clicked on or something. Not this week. This week, this is the first live of this week. Yesterday we didn't go live. Some stuff came up. Uh, like I just had some extra time meditating. And I wasn't gonna make it onto the live. Y'all know that I have been meditating a lot more due to remastering um my astral projection abilities. And thank you, hon. Uh, da, 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 da. Sorry, I'm gonna go through. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about the book, let me know. We're just going through the first chapter. It's only a couple more pages here. I just gotta remember where I was at. I'll just start from here. Okay, so this is important. We must always remember that we are in a material circumstance wherein at every moment our mind is subject to agitation. Actually, we are not in a very comfortable situation. We are always thinking that by changing our situation, we will overcome our mental agitation. And we are always thinking that when we reach a certain point, all mental agitations will disappear. But it is the nature of the material world that we cannot be free from anxiety. Our dilemma is that although we are always trying to make a solution to our problems, this universe is so designed that these solutions never come. Not being a cheater, being very frank and open, Ajna tells Karsana that the system of yoga he has described is not possible for him to execute. In speaking to Karsana, it is significant that Arjuna addresses him as a Mad Usudana. Um, I'm not. Because I don't know if Mad Sudana is the same thing as a Mahadri, so I'm not gonna like comment on it. I don't know if they're the same thing, but I'm pretty sure it is a high symbol of respect, um, especially in the spiritual community. Okay. Yes, yes, I'm trying. uh, Indicating that the Lord is the killer of the demon Madhu. Okay. Oh, so yeah, it is like a high spiritual ranking. Who who is this demon Madhu? I don't know. It's like different storylines. There's like a whole mystery and everything. Okay. Mm. Now this sounds like something I'll actually have to like go down a few rabbit holes to figure out what they're talking about. But it is notable that God's names are innumerable, for he is often named according to his activities. True. Right. That's why there's multiple stories on God. Why we study omniology, right? We don't just study one religion or one study of basis, right? Because all of it is talking about the same God, right? Into different stories. Okay. Now, of course, there's other gods and other deities and other spirits that have powerful domain, but you know what I'm saying, all the different stories are kind of like painted to go over those, but also the creator as a whole. Okay. Da, 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 da. We are only parts of God. Oh, okay, that's a notification. We are only parts of God, and we cannot even remember how many activities we have engaged in from our childhood to the present. The eternal God is unlimited, and since their activities are also unlimited, they have unlimited names, of which Krishna is the chief. Okay. We can also talk about how that goes. How chief is also means arc angel, right? Arc also means chief. Okay, so if Karsana means chief, we can get into how this even plays with the archangels. Okay, so then why is Arjuna addressing him as Masuananda when being Karsana's friend, he could address him directly as Karsana? The answer is that Arjuna considers his mind to be like a great demon, such as the demon Maruha. If it were possible for Karsana to kill the demon called the mind, then Arjuna would be able to attain the perfection of yoga. My mind is much stronger than this demon Madhu. Arjuna is saying, please, if you could kill him, then it would be possible for me to execute this yoga system. Even the mind of a great man like Arjuna is always agitated. As Arjuna himself says, the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. O Karsana, and to subdue it, I think, is more difficult than controlling the wind. Okay, so that's his personal thoughts when it comes to uh, how to like quiet the mind when you're in that state of meditation, even with yoga. Right, so this is all like a beginning story of how yoga was perfected in this author's case. Okay, they so it's just like we've got like a background story. It is indeed a fact that the mind is always telling us to go here, go there, do this, do that. It is always telling us which way to turn. Thus, the sum and substance of the yoga system is to control the agitated mind. In the meditational yoga system, the mind is controlled by focusing on the super soul. That is the whole purpose of yoga. But Arjuna says that controlling the mind is more difficult than stopping the wind from blowing. One can imagine a man stretching out his arms and trying to stop a hurricane. Are we to assume that Arjuna is simply not sufficiently qualified to control his mind? The actual fact is that we cannot begin to understand the immense qualifications of Arjuna. After all, he was a personal friend of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a highly elevated position and is one that cannot be all attained by one without great qualifications. In addition to this, Arjuna was renowned as a great warrior and administrator. He was such an intelligent man that he could understand the Bhagavad Gita within 1 hour, whereas at the present moment, great scholars cannot even understand it in the course of a lifetime. Yet Arjuna was thinking that controlling the mind was simply not possible for him. And if you do know anything about yoga or meditation, it is not in the good practice to like force your mind into that state, right? You kind of like have to let it flow, and gently get your mind into that. I don't want to say theta. Um, I might be thinking theta. Yeah, it might. Hold on. Let me fact check. But I'm pretty sure it's the theta brain waves. Yeah, so the theta brainwaves, right? So when you're trying to get into that, induce that state in your brain, right? It is all about not trying to control, but letting go of control while also having that discipline. So it's like a steady balance, right? You can't do too much of something, which is why I feel like Arjuna is having so much trouble with the forcing the meditation onto himself, right? Um are we then to assume that what was impossible for Arjuna is in a more advanced age is possible for us in this degenerate age, right? Excuse me. We should not for one moment think that we are in Arjuna's category. We are 1,000 times inferior. Moreover, there is no record of Arjuna having executed the yoga system at any time. Okay. Yet Arjuna was praised by Karsana as the only man worthy of understanding the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, what was Arjuna's great qualification? Sirakasana says, "You are my devotee, you are my dear friend." Despite this qualification, Arjuna refuses to execute the meditational yoga system described by Sri Karsana. When, all right, sorry. What then are we to conclude? Welcome in, welcome in. How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? Hey Musa, how you doing? How you feeling? Let me know down in the chat. Um, he's on the floor. He's over here. I thought he was on the bed, but he's on the floor. He's chilling. Da, 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 da. Sorry guys, I lost my place. What then are we to conclude? Are we to despair of the mind's ever being controlled? No, it can be controlled, and the process is Krishna consciousness, right? Christ consciousness, okay, is another word for that. The mind must always be fixed on Krishna. And when we say Christ consciousness, we're not talking like Jesus Christ no, we mean like Christ means we're all one, connected through our brains, okay, through this mental space where we are all on one accord, okay, where our thoughts and our mental sorry, I'm trying to see if I can get this book, this other book. Said, oh well, when they do, they do, right? Yeah, I mean, share them, like them, uh so other people can find them. That's all we can do is and pray. This is about Christ oil. I'm pretty sure it's in the section that we are currently going over. Sort of. Hold on. Consciousness. Does this go over the Christ consciousness? Head is heaven. There's a lot in this book as well. I'm just trying to see. We have any direct mentions here? Because I know we have the dimensions of consciousness here. So the mental plane. Um, sorry, just going through this. Okay, so you see in the book we have different stages of consciousness here, right? This is why I keep telling you guys consciousness is going to be the next step of evolution in humanity. We're not going to evolve physically any longer, right? But consciously, we still have realms to go up, right? Because our mental space, this is where Christ consciousness lies. Okay. Uh, This space is shared among all unconscious beings. Okay. It is the world of thought where ideas, concepts, and knowledge reside. Okay. These thoughts are not independently created, they are received according to the frequency our mind is attuned to, which goes into the astral planes of thought. Okay. Um, which I'm sure if you go back through the lives, you will find the recording of when we went over that chart more in depth. But if you ever have questions, let me know and I'll answer them. Period. We're going to try to get through the rest of this chapter here. So yeah. So, insofar as our mind is absorbed in the thoughts of Karsana, we attain the perfection of yoga. Now, when we turn to a whole nother name, Simrad Bhagavatam, in the 12th canto, we find Sukadeva Goswami, okay, telling Mahadraha Parskit, I'm trying, that in the golden age, the Sati Yoga, people lived for 100,000 years, and thus it was possible for such advanced beings to execute this meditational system of yoga. Okay. So someone was telling somebody else that in the golden age, people lived for hundreds and thousands of years. And they were able to execute this meditational system of yoga. But what was achieved in the Satya Yuga by this meditational process, and in the following Yuga, excuse me, the Treta Yuga, by the offering of great sacrifices, and the next Yuga, the Dwapara Yuga, by temple worship, can be achieved at the present time in the Kali Yuga by simply chanting the names of God. Hari Kirtana, Har, Hare Krishna. So, from authoritative sources, we learn that chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare, just over and over, Rama, Rama, right? Hare is the embodiment of perfection for this age, for yoga for this age. Okay, so like mantras. Okay, so today we have great difficulty living 50 or 60 years. A man may live at the utmost 80 or 100 years. In addition, these brief years are always fraught with anxiety, with difficulties due to circumstances of war, pestilence, and famine. And with so many of their disturbances, we're also not very intelligent, and at the same time, we're unfortunate. Well, this book is. I don't partly. Let's say I half agree with that. Um, with that statement, right? I would say that the way the world has been turning, I would see where they're coming from with that statement, right? But I would say it's half true. These are the characteristics of people living in the Kali Yuga, the present degraded age. So, properly speaking, we can never attain success in the meditational yoga system described by Karsana. At the utmost, we can only gratify our personal whims by some pseudo adaptation of this system. Thus, people are paying money to attend some classes in gymnastic exercise and deep breathing, and they're happy if they think they can lengthen their lifetimes by a few years or enjoy a better sex life. So, but we must understand that this is not the actual yoga system. In this age, that meditational system cannot be properly executed. Instead, all of the perfections of that system can be realized through bhakti yoga, the sublime process of karsana consciousness, specifically mantra yoga. Oh, there it is. There's the mantras. The glorification of Siri Karsana through the chanting of Hare Karsana that is recommended in the Vedic scriptures and has been introduced by great authorities like Katyayana. Um, we're just gonna slide past the last name. Indeed, the Bhagavad Gita proclaims that the Mahamatsas, the great souls, are always in terms of the Vedic literature, in terms of the Gita. The process of Karsana consciousness begins with the chanting of Hare Karsana. But if we're content with making a show of meditation by sitting very straight in the lotus position, okay, what he about to and going into a trance like some sort of performer, then that is a different thing. We should understand, however, that such show bottle performances have nothing to do with the actual perfection of yoga. The material disease cannot be cured by the artificial medicine. We have to take the real cure straight from Karsana. And like when he says that, it makes me think that's the end of the chapter. When he says that, right? Because when I tell you guys, it was so hard for me to like get into meditation because of like how the West has like construed meditation, like making it seem like you have to be like sitting up in lotus position, right, or that it has to be in stillness, right, you're not allowed to move. Okay, there was a lot of like parameters that just made it seem uncomfortable, right? And this is when I learned about flow meditation, which I did do a video on for you guys, the difference between stillness meditation and flow meditation, right? Which I feel like he is gonna be taking us down the path of flow meditation, right? Because flow meditation includes things like yoga, breath work, right? Moving your body while also gaining and maintaining theta brain waves and Christ consciousness, right? So I feel like that's the direction he's going to be going in, right? And saying that stillness meditation is very westernized. It's not as how they used to practice it. Back in the good old days, apparently in the golden age is what they call it. Um, so I definitely feel like they're going to be diving in deeper about this, so we can get like a real. Oh, there's a section about the author. I could have just read this to you guys. Oh well, we're gonna read it at the end. We're gonna learn more about his journey, um, here once we get to the back of the book. Okay, so you guys got a little taste of what he's about. And his book is very much like letting you know, like, okay, that I don't know. He's like, I don't know what that hullabaloo they got going on, but that's not real. That's not. You gotta know the story. You gotta know the facts. He said, "Let me spell it out for you guys, and then let's go through this journey together." You know what I'm saying? And hey, sometimes philosophers have to write books like that because sometimes people aren't really paying attention to how we got to certain things, the history that took us there, right? And we're just trying to have a practice because they try to like repackage the practice and sell it back to us, even though it's something that has been around for thousands and thousands of years. So someone like Swami here is trying to get us back to the roots of where the practice started, and make sure that we have that going forward. Okay, so yeah. That is going to be today's live. Just getting through that first chapter. Thank you for bearing with me. I do not speak the full language in this book, besides English. But the parts that are not in English, y'all bearing with me. So I thank you for that. As I'm trying to say the other words the best that I can. Right. Let me see. I want to see something really fast. But yeah, tomorrow we'll be back with our collective reading, and then Thursday we have our personal readings. And then remember, Fridays we aren't doing the lives on TikTok or YouTube. It's gonna be on Twitch because of the screen share ability that Twitch has, that TikTok and YouTube just they don't have it. Like Twitch has it. You know what I'm saying? I could do it on my phone. That's what I mean. Right? YouTube, I have to do it on the computer. And it's just I rather do the Twitch because we have Twitch and we got to use it for something. So it's going to be for the conscious game nights. Remember, it's conscious game nights will only be up on Twitch for like 7-14 days, so you only have that time period to go back and watch those, versus the ones that are already saved on YouTube. But yeah, we're gonna keep that on Twitch so it's easier um for me. No. Okay, well, I wasn't I was trying to figure out what language this is. The name of the language. Okay, so this is Sanskrit. I don't think all. I think the okay. I think the words right in the center that I can't read whatsoever. Yes, yes. We use our spiritual discernment and our intuition to help us win the game. I do it more so with you guys, right? Because it's hard in the public lobbies. I try my best in the public lobbies, guys, but when So half the time you just sitting in there and you're like, I don't even know what they're doing in here. So let me go ahead and find another lobby. But I would rather play with you guys. Like if you guys want to join the game, you can, and then we go over the rules and everything. But the public lobbies, I try my best. You know, sometimes we do really good, right? We get like 3 out of 3, 2 out of 3. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 1 out of 3 because I died the first round. But you know what I'm saying? Like that says, you know, we have really good games with public lobbies before, but at the same time, public lobbies are so unpredictable with how they're going to move in there, and sometimes they like to play the blame game and just throw things out there. So it's all like really we'll see when we get in there type of thing. But I try my best to make sure that you guys still learn discernment, um, and strengthen your intuition. Okay. Oh no, the original language is Sanskrit. Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, thank you for bearing with me as I tried to get through these Sanskrit words in this book. Yeah. Okay. It was a lot of looking up of pronunciations because it'd be like that. But yeah. Um. After that, what? Okay. So today's lesson day. Tomorrow, collective reading. Thursday, personal readings, yes or no questions. Friday, conscious game night on Twitch. Link in the bio if you're on TikTok. The link is in the bio if you're on YouTube. If you go to the link that's in the bio, you'll be taken to the Discord. Which, if you join the Discord, then you will be able to see the announcements page, and the announcement page has the link pinned in it, and in that link you will find the Twitch. I will be putting the parent link, the mother link onto YouTube here soon, so you guys don't have to go through all of that. But if you do want to play with Conscious Game Night, then it is recommended that you have Discord downloaded and you are in the Discord server so that you're able to use the voice chat with us, okay? Because I don't know, Among Us Mobile still hasn't worked all the kinks out for voice chat. So we're just gonna have to rock and roll using the old school Discord uh method, okay? And I would go into like public voice chat lobbies too, but that's also unpredictable, guys. Like sometimes we can find smart people. That's not the issue. The issue is that I don't like know them or their personality type, right? Or how they're going to conduct themselves. And it's like, okay, if they're sitting here just like acting a fool, it's like I don't want to be in here no more. Like, you know what I'm saying? Gotta find another voice chat. So it's very like we do what we do. I think I've tried that before, like a couple times, and I just wasn't feeling it. I'd rather do the text chats, you know, like okay, at least I know I can just like dip if it gets crazy, and I'll probably never see these people again. So hey, it is what it is. But yeah, yeah, I do still need 9 people to play um on Fridays, right? You don't have to play every Friday, but if you are free Friday nights, typically like 7:30, okay, then join us, okay, learn something, have a good time, right? I'm not putting any pressure on you to intuitively guess people correct, right? Especially if you're a beginner, okay, with your intuition. Now, if you've been using your intuition for a long time, you've been strengthening it for a long time, right? We do have more advanced rules for those of you that are more adapt, yeah. Well, that can easily adapt to those rules, and have those chances to, like, I don't want to say show off, but you know what I'm saying, do your thing, okay, during the game, right? But at the end of the day, have fun, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day, okay. It's not supposed to get heated, right? Even though, some people just the moment gets intense, you're trying to defend yourself, because everybody thinks you're the imposter and you're not the imposter, and you're just like those moments happen, right? You just get a little, like, way too into the moment, and you're like, oh, okay, wait, let's bring it back down. Okay, no need to do all that extra, right? But it does happen, right? It just, you're trying to, when you're playing the game, okay, you're just trying to make sure that you're communicating in a way that people understand you, right? And that, you're not bringing extra confusion to the chat, especially if you're not the imposter. Just don't act like one. You know what I'm saying? Right? Because people have gotten voted out because it's not like, it's not what you look like or anything like that. It's how you were acting, and your actions were making you look a little sus. You know what I'm saying? And if we still haven't got anyone out with the intuition call, then hey, we gotta sacrifice something. We gotta move something. See, like, what's going on here. Which the intuition calls, right, do help get rid of some of that. Right, where it's like, okay, if two people call the intuition call back to back, right, boom, that person's automatically out, right? So if two people are saying you're the imposter based off their intuition, what their intuition is telling them, okay, then automatically you're going to be out, right? Because that's two different people's intuition, right? As well as, if we do not tolerate anyone using their intuition to manipulate the gameplay, right? So if your intuition wasn't like, oh my god, it's Alayia, okay, right, like, then there's no reason for you to be making an intuition call, right? If your body is, like, giving you signs, okay, there's somatic signs. You might feel it in your stomach, okay, your ear might ring, right, eye might twitch, you know what I'm saying, like, you got to pay attention to when your intuition gives you the signs, right? And it will show up in your body as well, but you also might just know or hear it, right, or feel it. But when, like I said, when we're in the feeling, then you need to make sure you're paying attention to your body, okay? Especially if you're clairsentient, right? You need to be making sure you're paying attention to your body, and which is why we do the integration questions at the end. So even if you, like, were completely wrong all night with your intuition calls, like, it is a-okay. You know why? Because we have the integration questions at the end, so that you can learn from your mistakes and you can learn to trust your intuition as time goes on. Okay, so it is like a built-in, like, safety net, so you don't feel like defeated at the end, right? Instead, you're uplifting yourself because you're pointing out, okay, when did I feel this, or when did my intuition notice this? What was the signs, right? What where did I overwrite the signs? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're basically going back and analyzing, so that anytime, whether you're in the game or in reality in your everyday life, right, and your intuition gives you that little nudge, right, you're not going to ignore it or try to override it or try to be like, ah, nah, that's nothing, right? You're going to actually listen to it because you've been practicing and strengthening that trust and that connection with it. Okay, so that is the reason, one of the like main reasons we do play Among Us for our conscious game nights is to strengthen that connection so that you can learn to trust yourself more. Like when I'm playing, guys, I use the advanced rules, the advanced question integration questions, right? Like I said, I only use the advanced stuff, right? Because I know where I am at on my journey with that. Okay. But if you're in the beginner realm, it's fine. We got beginner rules, right? We let you make the mistakes so that you're not like in a situation where if you had these tools prior, you could have got yourself out of that situation, right? Just by listening to your intuition, right? So I'm trying to make sure you guys just don't end up in any situations you don't need to be in. Okay. Okay, like, and that's me speaking on from like personal experience, okay, because definitely if I would have listened to my intuition, I would not have been in the toxic situationship that I was in a few years ago. Okay. If I would have listened at the start, right? Not a couple years later, as if I would have listened like within the first 30 days, I would have not stayed in that situation, right? So from personal experience, right, like you have to learn these lessons, okay, and there are ways to strengthen your gifts and do it so you never have to be in those situations. Yeah, you're gonna have to grow, learn, evolve through certain things, but you don't have to go through certain things if you listen to your intuition the first time. Okay, alrighty. That is still learning a lesson. All right. Okay, guys. We are hitting the hour mark here, and I do have some things to work on, but I love you guys. Okay, I will see you guys next time. Alrighty. Remember that we do speak love, justice, and peace. I'll see y'all next time, tomorrow, hopefully, but whenever y'all come back. What's that, Tyson? All right, bye, y'all.